We were told that it was a brotherhood and these guys just loved being around each other. They were treating the national team like a fucking country club. I walked in my locker room and the boys were crying because we lost. I like to see that. When's the last time we heard that? When's the last time we heard a coach that likes to see his players suffer? Likes it because now he knows that they care. He's going to demand commitment. He's going to demand fight. And he wants you to be passionate about it. And it's just odd that it's a foreign coach who is digging this out of the American player. This coach is making it about the team. And this team is making it about the team. And the fact that they are fighting for each other in a tryout scenario is interesting to me. That's how you win games. You care about the result, you care about the flag, you care about the shirt, and you always care about the performance. But we care about one thing more than anything else, and that's winning. All right, let's go into the topic that everybody likes to talk about, and a lot of people like to throw rocks at, and some people are still on the fence of whether our coach, Mauricio Pochettino, is the right guy. Now, there's so much to unpack here, and people need to understand that we've kind of lived this before. And there are many people who believe that if you are serious about winning the World Cup, you have to hire a coach who is from or has the same nationality as the players. Now, the reason why people say that is because nobody's ever won the World Cup with a foreign coach. It's never happened. So if this tournament's been going on for a while, okay, so we're closing in on over 100 years. So can we understand that that's the logic behind that? A lot of people, want to see Mauricio Pochettino obviously succeed because he's had success in other places. He's made it to a final a bunch. I mean, I'm starting to feel for the guy. If you really think about it, what happened to him against Liverpool in his time at Chelsea, I mean, it was right down to the wire and they lose on a header. Think about this. Think about the year that that all of the teams that he has coached for have had. Chelsea finally wins a trophy, right? Not when he was there, but after he leaves. Tottenham, first time in forever, wins a trophy. He has been there as well and couldn't pull it off. Nobody has until this moment. Ange Postecoglou wins the whole damn thing and they fire him as well. And PSG wins the Champions League. Now, this is a pretty remarkable scenario. I mean, obviously, Tuchel was a part of that group that made it to a Champions League final, but it doesn't mean that Pochettino didn't understand what it meant to manage really high-profile players. He's done it in all of his last destinations. I don't really necessarily believe that our team represents high-profile players, but Mauricio Pochettino is a very good coach. I've had extensive conversations with people who have played for him. People I know, like Brad Friedel, for example, who has an incredibly high opinion of Mauricio Pochettino for the very reason that he is a guy that will hold you accountable and he has that street fighter edge. He played for the Argentine national team. He understands that more than most. If you're Argentina and you're playing in CONMEBOL, I mean, most of those games against the Perus and the Chiles and against Uruguay, I mean, you take the gloves off because this is going to get dirty. Our team is starting to show that kind of culture, a die for the guy next to you culture, which we haven't really seen in a while. We were told that it was a brotherhood and these guys just loved being around each other. They were treating the national team like a fucking country club. That's what we used to have. It's not the case anymore. These guys aren't getting on private planes and flying in to have expensive dinners with their buddies in Miami. They're on the watch. They know that Pochettino is certainly not going to tolerate anybody that's not willing to give it up and be committed to the group, with still at the same time bringing in an element of fun. I loved what he said at the end of this tournament. He said, I walked in my locker room and the boys were crying because we lost. I like to see that. When's the last time we heard that? When's the last time we heard a coach that likes to see his players suffer? Likes it because now he knows that they care. And I will say this about Pochettino, and I believe in him. I really, truly do. That guy's also got that knack for just digging into your character and knowing if you're real or not. He'll find the frauds. He'll find the guys that are there to enjoy their trip with the national team because they get to be important and go see their boys again, or maybe get back to the poker game. That's not what the national team is about. Trust me, I know. But Pochettino is a guy who's going to demand excellence, and if he doesn't get it, you're not going to last. He's going to demand commitment. He's going to demand fight, and he wants you to be passionate about it. And that's something that I think has always been there in the past. And it's just odd that it's a foreign coach who is digging this out of the American player. Now, that's not to say that Bruce Arena couldn't do it or Bob Bradley couldn't do it, or Jurgen Klinsmann for that matter. The mesh of those ideas were very different. Greg Berhalter ran things differently. And I do think that his ideas, his ideology in general, I'm going to make people think differently about how this national team plays. The biggest problem with that statement is he started with an I. It wasn't about the coach. This coach is making it about the team, and this team is making it about the team. And the fact that they are fighting for each other in a tryout scenario is interesting to me. That's how you win games. You care about the result, you care about the flag, you care about the shirt, and you always care about the performance. But we care about one thing more than anything else, and that's winning. Pochettino, in my opinion, although his track record is a little edgy on that, is a winner. We need to continue listening to this man because he's going to make us better.